Okay, so I'm back. So let's just talk about me. This is part two. Go look at the other video. This is talking about me. I know that I decided to do this before I came because the things that happened, the things that I experienced in my life, nobody else in my family could do, not even my closest friends could do it and walk through it because their testimony to me is, I don't know how you did this. I don't know how you overcame this. I don't know how you're still smiling. I don't know how your light still shines bright. I don't know how you get up and wake up in the morning. And the reason is I learned this. I decided to do this before I came. So I decided to be the curse breaker. So I decided that there were things that I was going to experience. Now, in the spiritual side, I had already decided these things. That's why there's nothing that is presented to me that I can't overcome. There is nothing, there's no trauma I don't get past. There's no struggle that I don't overcome. There's no sadness that I don't replace with joy. Like there's no hardship that I don't turn into, there's no test that I don't turn into a testimony. Because I wake up every day. Like there's nothing that can kill me. Except for me. Let's get that straight. The only thing that can kill me is me. And that's been proven in my life. The only thing that can kill me is me. Yeah. Except, they tried to get me with that penicillin when I was younger, and before I actually knew, they were just like the adversaries, and I don't even know, and it's familiar adversaries and just things of that nature. So like I died when I was a baby, infection, coral wrapped around my throat 3 times, so that hit you with that penicillin, instant anaphylactic shock, because I'm born allergic to penicillin, and instantly I'm shot up, all that other stuff, but I didn't die, so they couldn't keep almost like yeah, no, I did. Okay, so flatline, but then they brought me back. So when I was 12, I killed myself. I did. I killed myself, and then I died. And I remember going to the void, going to my special place. It's just a void, and my ancestors and were there, and they strengthened me, and they reminded me that I decided that I decided for this, and that literally, if I looked within, like they equipped me with a little bit of all of themselves in me, and I was ready. I was ready, so I chose, and so I chose to come back. I chose to come back, so I chose to come back, and ever since then, everything that I had to endure, I have endured it, and sometimes I'm like the willow tree that bends and stuff, and sometimes you think I'm going to break, and like I could bend all the way over, and my head could be on the ground, but I'm still rooted. Like I'm not going to, my roots run deep. So I chose this. I chose to endure what it is that I've endured. Why? Because I chose to be the curse breaker. I chose to be connected to my ancestors. I chose to build the legacy, to rebuild their legacy, and to remember their legacy, and to build familial and generational wealth the way that they intended it to. I chose to bring respect back to our family name. Like I'm choosing these things. And nobody chose me to do it, because let's think about it. Coming from Christianity, and you look about the chosen fail. The chosen people who are like, oh, they're chosen, and we can even now go in the Bible. I've seen many people who have been quote unquote chosen and anointed, not by God, but anointed by a pastor, a parent, an elder, somebody for some specific, and like they tell them what they need to do, and it's in, and and you believe it because again you're brought up in the system and so you're chosen, but you don't excel at what you're chosen to do. Why? Because that is not what you decided to do. That is not what you agreed upon doing when you got here. That was not your reason. You let somebody else choose that reason for you in the fame, in them being a representative of the Christian God. And normally that's where I see it, where people tell you that you're chosen. Nobody told me that I was going to be the curse breaker. I knew. I've always known. I've always known. I've always been different. I've always known that what my family did, I was not going to do. That their thoughts were not my thoughts. Their actions were not my actions. I've always talked to my ancestors in secret my whole life, but now I'm an adult and I'm all like, dude, I'm going to talk to them in public. Talk to me or not talk to me. They're there. And no longer am I going to pretend that I'm not with them and I'm not talking to them and they're not the ones that are guiding me. So, like, I've never been a true believer in Christianity because it's always been hypocritical to me. And so I've always been searching. I've always been searching for my roots, my natural spirituality that's in my blood. I've always talked to trees. I've always grounded myself in the earth. I've always been like, I don't really want these sicknesses, so they're not mine. So I wear glasses right now. My retina is detached in one of my eyes right now, but I'm not always going to have a detached retina. Why? Because it is going to heal. See that I'm playing. You think that I'm playing, but I'm not. Like, I'm not. There's a reason why I still wear the glasses right now. But one day I won't need the reason. One day I won't need the detached retina. I actually need it right now. But when I don't need it, it will heal. When I don't need it, my eyes will be 20/20 vision. Why? Because I chose this and I decided to be this. Like, I decided to be a walking miracle. I decided to do the impossible. I decided to actually be living proof of things that people say that they can't do. There are so many things that people told me that I can't do, I can't do, I can't do. And I was like, says who? Who are they? Who are you? Just because you can't do it doesn't mean that I can't do it. And guess what happened? I ended up doing it. I healed myself from asthma. Literally. I've healed myself from sinus infections. From sinus issues. I've healed myself from mental issues. No drugs. I've healed myself. I've healed myself. Why? Because before I came to this plane, I decided to do that. And I made a contract between my ancestors. Because when we come here, there's work that we're supposed to do. There's it's for lessons that you need to learn, unless you've already learned your lessons. And I feel that I had been here enough to learn these lessons, so that way this time when I came back, I was like, okay, I can actually do work now because I already know. And so I have a great knowing. I have a great knowing that I'm not going to be like, no, I don't know. I know. And so this time around, it was not for me to learn anything per se, as far as karma and my soul and things of that nature. It was just for me to come down and experience, and for me actually to do the work, to be a curse breaker, to actually operate in my gifts of healing, and to operate in my gifts of knowing, and to help set not only my family free, but other people free. Because we're all sisters and brothers and we're all connected. And so to help heal nations, and when I talk about legacy and generational wealth, I'm just not talking about, like, my family that's alive. I'm actually talking about my ancestral roots too, as well. That's what I've been called to do. I've been called to plant seeds in my ancestral homes that will create generational wealth, generational knowledge, that will call the lost, those that were here, those that are searching, that will call the lost back home, that will call the lost back to their ancestors. Why? Because I am walking proof. This is not something that I've heard. This is not something that somebody else told me. Um, Again, next month is mental health awareness. So I always go through May and share my story. And so this year, though, the other years I've been sharing about how, oh wait, this has nothing. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, because this has nothing to do with it. But so